And so to answer your question, the way I got comfortable was by making mistakes and being told how terrible I was and making more mistakes and watching and crying and my friends saying it'll be okay. But I fucking loved my job so much that eventually I started to figure it out. And here we are today.
Michael, as we see the rise of hip hop and where it is today and the growth, actually, real quick, Nishi Me, the first ever Canadian artist signed in is here somewhere. Appreciate you. Are you surprised to see the growth and evolution because it was something that people couldn't even hear on the radio and you were able to bring that to so many different people?
No, because in Montreal, where I came from, I was in a hip-hop silo there. I was producing hip-hop and I played it all on my show. That was my Canadian content. I made it in the studio every week, so I worked with artists there. So I was not surprised because the artists that I worked with there owned the city. And I was playing them on an AM station and sometimes on an FM station. Every kid, we didn't sell the records, they were just cassettes and they just sort of traded like back in the day. Every boombox had us, the police had us in their boomboxes. So I wasn't surprised at all. And we did it in a multilingual fashion, like we had one track that we would do in 6 different languages in 4 minutes. So no, I wasn't surprised, I was just waiting.
Steve, I'm glad you're up next because my question is for you, conveniently, or whoever had the mic. I was probably going to just roll in, but it's you. And Steve, when I watched your footage back then, I was, it reminded me almost of modern day TikTok videos or YouTube in a sense because you were given so much freedom to do this wild and crazy stuff in between. What reminds me, there was an artist that was in the studio that had just finished smoking a cigarette and you were auctioning it off between music videos to the fans.
No, this is how it goes. There were people who could do really good interviews, and then there was me. I was completely untrustworthy with respect to doing an interview. The REM one, was it you originally that we saw in the movie, in the film? Who did the REM interview that we saw? It was you. There was another time when REM came in and they were trying to trade off my shifts because REM was scheduled on my shift. That's how much they trusted me. And back at the very beginning, as you saw as the movie progressed, more and more international artists would show up willingly. Back when I was there, it was a little harder to get them in. It was a bit of a struggle. I remember there was a time that David Bowie was being interviewed. And I'm not sure whether or not I was supposed to do the interview and it was taken away from me. Anyway, it ended up being, I ended up thinking it was Chris Ward. And at that time, as you could see, smoking really wasn't much of a fucking problem. In fact, I think when artists showed up, we would give them packs of cigarettes so they would look more normal. Smoking, I don't smoke. Well, no, you're going on camera, it's normal here. So they set up the riser by the window in Much Music for David Bowie and I believe Christopher Ward. And at the end of the smoking interview, I took the ashtray away that was filled with David Bowie cigarette butts, and I took them outside to the crowd that was still there, and I was able to make $10 by selling a David Bowie cigarette butt. That was Much Music. Has this ever been done before? No.
I just want to add a little David Bowie anecdote because we had him at the 10th anniversary of the Much Music Video Awards. It was a huge show. Lenny Kravitz was playing with the Guess Who. It was on and on. And I went back to talk to David about whatever, when it was going on, etc., etc. And we had a nice conversation, and then I left the room and I heard him say to his person, "This place is chaos." It seems to be run by children.
Monica, I found it fascinating while talking with you. I didn't deep dive into the archives until I almost had conversations with all of you because you guys were touching on things, and that it would send me back down a rabbit hole that was beautiful. But what was fascinating was you told me right off the bat it was Electric Circus was in the daytime. And then, of course, when I went through that footage, it was ridiculous that this thing exists in a sense where, how did you get people to so earnestly dance, so passionately in those early days before it grew into what it was?
Okay, so, can we please not diss the people that dance during the day? Because if they had not continued to come down and dance during the day, there would never have been an EC at night, national, live on the nation's music station. There would never have been EC live at Canada's Wonderland with 35,000 people. There would never have been EC live in Ottawa with 25,000 people on Parliament Hill. Like, it was the people that danced during the day that carried the show, were sometimes laughed at, but believed in the show. And you know what? Kudos to them, because that's why I'm sitting here. Thank you very much.
So Kim, I was fascinated by watching your footage that anytime a musician was playing an acoustic set or performing in any way, normally the VJ rather, would get up and give them space, but I found that you stayed. And you were so comfortable doing so. Was that because your background as being an artist and you felt comfortable being around another musician? I mean, it was very unique.
I think I'm just really interested in people and curious about them. I don't know if it was like about the comfort, but I just feel endlessly curious. And you know, Monica, like those daytime dancers, they are hardcore. They are more hardcore than the nighttime dancers. They've been up all night and in the morning and they're still dancing.
You know who was even more confused? The artists that came on the show. They were on Electric Circus and they were, what the hell is happening? Like, what is even going on? This like day glow painting on the risers. These people dancing at 3:30 in the afternoon and we're coming in here and I'm Queen Latifah. And like, why am I here? But you know what? They were there. So, like I said, nobody wanted to admit they watched it because it was like saying, I sat home on a Friday night and I ate the whole gallon of Haagen-Dazs ice cream, okay? No one's gonna admit it, but everybody was watching it.